that yellow hammer, come see how we rock this. Alabama fans, the best, there's no way you can top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this. The process.
Welcome into the process, Crimson Tide Recruiting. I'm your host, Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Go ahead and subscribe to Touchdown Alabama on YouTube to watch the process every Tuesday and Thursday. And on this episode, I wanted to take a look at the Tide's 2021 recruiting class and who could commit to the Tide this month. Of course, the Tide is rolling on the recruiting trail in the 2021 recruiting class at this moment, picking up 2 commitments this week already. So I wanted to take a look at a couple of guys who could commit to the Tide this month and keep that momentum going for Alabama on the recruiting trail. But before I get a chance to break down those guys, I do have a couple of recruiting updates. I have to keep you guys updated on everything that's going on when it comes to the Tide's recruiting efforts as always. So we're going to dive right into those recruiting updates first, then hit those guys who could commit to the Tide this month. So with that being said, let's get the process started. Let's kick these recruiting updates off with the Tide picking up their 10th commit in the 2021 recruiting class and 4-star outside linebacker Dallas Turner. On Wednesday, you guys can check out all of Turner's commitment coverage on touchdowналabama.com, from the breaking news story to me breaking down what his commitment means to the Tide's 2021 recruiting class. Also me catching up with his dad, DeLon Turner, him breaking down what his son's commitment means to the Tide in terms of how firm it is. And also a note is included in that story that really paints a picture that Dallas Turner is just scratching the surface of how good he can be. So be sure to subscribe to touchdowналabama.com. If you were to subscribe, you'll be able to read that subscriber only article with me catching up with Dallas Turner's dad, DeLon Turner. Also moving forward in Tide's 2021 recruiting class, they are going to recruit a couple of in-state defensive backs, including Kamari Lassiter, a 2021 4-star defensive back out of American Christian Academy in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. This is a kid who has told me recently that multiple members of the Tide's coaching staff have been in contact with them, including the Tide's defensive coordinator Pete Golding, also the Tide's safeties coach Charles Kelly, who recruits the state of Alabama for the Crimson Tide. So Lassiter has been in contact with a couple of members of the Tide's coaching staff. I know the defensive back position is a bit crowded in terms of the Tide's recruiting board, but Lassiter is a guy to definitely keep an eye on. He does have Alabama in his top 6. He did drop that top 6 on yesterday. Also, the Tide will continue to push for McKinstry, the 5-star athlete out of Pinson Valley High School in Pinson, Alabama, who recently dropped a tweet saying they may drop a top 3 soon. This is something to pay attention to because this is a kid who has always said a commitment for him to could come at any time. So you have to pay attention to every move that he makes in terms of cutting his top schools list down. So the Tide will continue to recruit a lot of in-state players in this 2021 recruiting class. Kamari Lassiter and McKinstry are definitely a couple of guys to look out for moving forward when in the Tide's recruiting efforts, especially in the 2021 recruiting class. But on this episode, as I said, I wanted to take a look at a couple of guys who I feel may commit to the Tide next. And I'm going to start it off with a guy that I'm going to end the recruiting updates with him saying he's going to commit soon. And that's 4-star linebacker Blackshear out of Duncanville High School in Duncanville, Texas. Blackshear is a guy I would definitely put in this conversation. He did tweet out, "I will commit soon" on Twitter recently. And this is a kid who's pretty put together, one of the more put together athletes you're going to see in the entire 2021 recruiting class. When you see this guy, almost looks like he's a monster at 6'2" and 230 pounds plus. He's well put together, and during his sophomore season, he showed a lot of potential, was able to play sideline to sideline, take some great angles and lower the boom and make a lot of great hits, a lot of big hits, a lot of forceful hits during his sophomore season. Unfortunately, he was unable to play during his junior season because of an ACL injury, but now he looks like he's going to be ready to go as a senior. And I think the Tide is really like this guy, and they have been liking this guy for a lot of years now. They have been recruiting him for more than 2 years. After offering him in February of 2018, they was able to host him in June of 2019. So that's the last time he was able to visit Alabama. But it looks like the Tide is in a great position with them. I'm pretty sure they were hoping to get him on campus during the spring or summer to possibly evaluate him more, get a chance to get him on campus. But unfortunately, you can't do that. It's a new world of recruiting, so you have to virtually recruit and have continue to first recruit most of their top 2021 targets. I'm pretty sure Blackshear has been in that mix as well. The Tide is included in its top 6, which was released back in April. So this is a kid I would definitely look out for in terms of committing to the Tide this month and in terms of committing to the Tide next. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but you have to put the Brockemeyer twins in this conversation as well because of their recruitment plans. They have taken visits to their top schools there, and they know they're not going to be able to get on campus as much as possible and possibly take a lot of official visits during the football season with their busy schedule. They have taken the visits, like I said, to the schools that they are looking at the most, and I think they're going to be confident in making a decision this summer. Of course, the Tide is still in the mix. I think the Tide looks like the favorite, especially the favorite to pull in both of the Brockemeyer twins, Tommy Brockemeyer and James Brockemeyer. Of course, Tommy is the offensive tackle. James is the center, versatile offensive lineman who could play across the offensive line. So I think the Tide is in a great position with these guys. I know I have rung them up a lot since I interviewed their father on the process when he talking about their heavy interest in the Tide and bringing up that they have done their research about the entire University of Alabama's football program and that they know all of the information that they need to know about every program that they are considering, that they have done their research. So I will expect them to commit this summer. It wouldn't surprise me if they committed this summer, but you never know. They could hold off until the football season and possibly try to take some more visits, but they have taken visits and they have evaluated the schools at the top of their lists. And Quincy McKinstry is the last guy I want to talk about. Yeah, another guy that I've talked about a lot on the process, but he did release that their top 3 could be coming, and this is a guy who has constantly said his commitment could come any day of the week, anytime he feels ready. I think the Tide is in a good position with him as well, but this is a kid who could hold off. He could announce soon, so you have to keep him in the conversation always as far as a guy who could commit next. I think Alabama has done a great job of recruiting him for quite some time now, offering him early in his high school career, and has continued to recruit him, has continued to stay on him heavily throughout his time at Pinson Valley High School, and offering him in basketball as well, showing that we really want you here. And I think he is, as I always say, one of the more productive athletes to come out of the state of Alabama in quite some time, just his overall athleticism. So those are 3 guys that I would put in the mix. You have to put the Brockemeyer twins and McKinstry definitely in the mix as always, but Kendrick Blackshear, with him announcing I will commit soon, is another guy you have to throw in there as well. Thank you for watching this episode of The Process. Before you go ahead and subscribe to Touchdown Alabama on YouTube. Then head over to touchdownalabama.com. Pick up a subscription to Touchdown Alabama. With that subscription, you will be able to read all of our subscriber-only articles. Of course, get your hands on our yearly print magazine issue. Read our in-depth scouting report on each of the Tide's commits. So go ahead and get that subscription so you can get all of that subscriber-only content. Then head over to your app store, whether it's Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Download the Touchdown Alabama app so you can get notifications of Alabama breaking news, Alabama football breaking news. So thank you guys again for watching. I am Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine.